Okay, we're starting this over. Those of you that joined us, would you please let me know if you can now see? Let me know if we're connected. Waiting for Genesee to join in. I am looking forward to having you guys on guest requests, share broadcast. You don't have any viewers yet, share. Okay, invite. All right. All right. Let's see. All right, Genesee, you are back in. Let me add you. Yes. All right. Are we doing better this time? You are sideways, lovely. Let's make sure. Michael, Genesee, Janine, are we good? Are we good? Awesome.
Oh,
Joanne, thank you guys for coming back. Michael, thank you. You know what? Facebook, YouTube, GoToWebinar, Zoom, it does not matter which utility you're using. All of them are having issues, especially when it comes to content that is seriously evolving humanity and creating huge paramount shifts in our potential. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate that you guys are joining us. Genesee, we're really excited tonight. Let's welcome everybody. Welcome back. Waking Up, Solutionary TV presents Ascension series. Why? Because every single issue that we are experiencing as humanity, as society, globally, has a solution. But if we can't get to one simple concept of what are we here for, and are we or are we not meant to evolve as a species, and what does that mean, and what is our inherent birthright, and what can we do as a community, if we're not addressing that key facet, everything else goes to the wayside and we just keep warring with each other, right? We know this. Everyone knows this. So Genesee, welcome, beautiful. My co-host, we managed to get both of us on. We hacked this nut, yeah?
We hacked it, and let me give you the funny part about where I am. So I pulled off the side of the street into a police station to be able to do the live video. So just in case there's a knock on my door, I'm cutting. I'm gonna go out like this. I'll show you guys first, and then I'll cut.
Okay. All right. So, well, good. Yeah. Give us a heads up if you're actually in peril. We do not want you to have a run-in with the officers tonight. Right. I don't think you need that. You don't need that. And
no,
we've got
hopefully
so
they're
much
watching
exciting
live
stuff to talk about. That's right. All right.
Let's
so
hashtag
Vivian, Christine,
Sugar and Falls Police.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're talking about the veil tonight. You know that thing, that annoying thing that most of us call, you know, the veil of forgetfulness, falling asleep into humanity, coming down into this 3D sphere, and what it means to forget our multidimensionality, this gorgeous, amazing eternality of what we really are and what we came here to experience and what is our divine birthright and inheritance. Genesee and I are really excited to touch on this because I just came out of teaching a very intensive weekend on energy and medical intuition. And the reason why I'm teaching it is guidance said, yep, you're busy, you're writing books and you're doing shows and you have done all different types of entrainment. Can you believe my phone wants to wiggle right now? I'm just not going to let it. I'm just not putting up with anything tonight. I'm telling you what, snap, get this crap together. Guidance said you need to teach this because there are too many that are operating in mind field from a place of an academic intellectual place and not from a very active crown chakra and third eye. We need to be in 6th and 7th chakras to be able to anchor it down into our heart to make an impact in the intuitive place we all got to be. It's time to discern. So Genesee, let's welcome our people and tell them why we are so excited that they're with us tonight and why the veil is such a big topic.
Oh,
can you hear me, Genesee?
So you cut out a little bit. You go robot voice a few times for me, but I heard you say something that I would like more clarification on for everybody to be tracking. So when you say you've been given guidance that people are too in this mental reality and not operating from third eye and crown chakra, number one, what's that mean to you? And then number two, how do you start to change that paradigm and get people up into this reality?
Okay, great questions. All excellent questions. Let me brighten up my screen a little bit. Can everybody still see me? Sandra, welcome. Chuck, welcome. Okay, please, in the box, if you can't hear me, you can't see me, please let me know. That way Genesee and I can really deliver the best Facebook Live tonight. The veil, so important. So we talk about this idea of ascending. Those of you that are into this work and you know that Waking Up Solutionary TV has moved into the ultimate solution by way of we need to be open to and truly embody what our divinity is all about. There's no way we're going to get through warring politics and issues between nation states and financial monopolies and corporate takeovers, and I could go on and on. We've got to go back to the root. We've got to go back to the baseline of why are we here? What are we doing? Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. We're glad to know you can hear us. And the only way that we can really come together at the most fundamental level is, first of all, agreeing. What are we doing down here? And why are we here right now on this planet? And once we get really lucid to the fact that it is about us being embodied divinity, because no matter what you came from, no matter what walk of life or what religious philosophy, dogma, church, you name it, there is a universal belief system that quantum physics agrees with all the way through the religions to esoteric sciences. We are one unified field. The divine source is omnipresent. Omnipresent. It created everything and is everything. So you are divinity, but you chose to come down to 3D to forget. We all dove deep into forgetfulness. We all took on the veil. Some of us have been poking holes in it a little bit longer than others. Some of us have been understanding that it's a membrane that's permeable. Some of us have actually been really fine-tuning our skills. Why is this so important right now, guys? Because if you pay any attention to the level of disinformation, misinformation, fake news, bought out mainstream media, and a whole lot of whack jobs that are out there in their own alternative platforms, some of which might consider me to be falling into that line. I don't know about you, Genesee, you're too straight-laced. But the fact, what are we going to do? What are we going to do if we can't discern? What do we do if we don't have this connection? How are we going to make any sense out of what's going on? And most of us are feeling, hi Cheyenne, wonderful to see you, beautiful. Most of us are feeling the intensity of a shifting world. If you are looking at Michael Bradbury, MRMB, BB 333, if you are looking at his work, if you're looking at Sean Frost, if you are looking at Jacob Israel, these are all YouTubers, guys. There's so much more. If you're looking at Gaia TV, if you're looking at prepareforchange.net, we have a global shift of epic proportion. And I'm not even talking about politics, and I'm not talking about money, and I'm not talking about nation states. I'm saying the earth is very vocal right now. We just had an 8.3 down near Fiji. We had another one right near there just less than, I think, 48 hours ago. We have more active volcanoes, more seismic activity, more tsunamis, more flooding, more everything. Hurricanes that are coming towards the East Coast as we speak. 2 hurricanes that barely grazed Hawaii. Guys, this isn't normal. Pay attention to what's going on. The earth is speaking. And if you pay attention to the resonant frequency that is the earth, 7.8 hertz is her typical heartbeat. Anyone that studies shamanic resonance knows this. We, as sentient life on the planet, have to be in reciprocity or calibrated. Symbiosis, all of these fun 50-cent words. These keep us connected with the earth grid, with Mother Gaia, with feeling a sense of homeostasis with her. We're riding on her skin, as is everything else that's sentient here. When she goes through major upheaval, her heartbeat changes, just like we would if we were stressed. She's pretty stressed, folks. Pay attention to shamanic resonance readings. There are monitors all over the world for shamanic resonance. And you want to know what she's been doing? A lot. She's actually gone from 7.8 hertz off and on through June, shot through the roof up over 50 hertz, sometimes for 6-7 hours at a time, spiking down, spiking up. What do you think that does to us? What do you think is going on? And I have to give you this baseline. Those of you that are familiar, hello, Susan. So glad to see you here, beautiful. And knowing that you just came out of that intensive weekend in our class, those that have joined us from the class, some of this is going to be remedial and some of it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful build-in, because something phenomenal happened over the weekend, Susan, and everyone else that's listening. Genesee's being really patient with me tonight because she knows we had a very intense weekend of teaching, and as a facilitator, I have to hold very clean space to stay in my highest intuitive prowess in third eye, crown chakra wide open, bringing in my multidimensional higher self, guidance that's higher than that, angels, ascended masters, archangels, guides, high guides, all of those that work in this capacity of bringing down truth to humanity, disseminating it, and helping others to discern. All of that was in place during the weekend, and I run very, very high energy. And I want to share, I don't have any problem with the stories that people share about having orbs or what they perceive to be as permeations in space-time, creating temporal bubbles. We know CERN's been doing it. Quantum computers have been doing it. Anyone who isn't following that, get on YouTube and look up Geordie Rose with a G. Go look up CERN. Go find out what the Higgs boson is and that God particle. We have singularities that open up all the time, guys. And here's the exciting news. We can create them. And you'd say, well, why do I want to create them? Well, they're being created all the time. That's why we have the Mandela effect. They're being created by those that would like to play with our sense of space-time and our sense of history and what we consider to be real. But when you're working in clean energy, and I'm talking really clean energy, guys, your goal is, I am here to bring about the evolution of humanity. I am here to bring about the emergence of a healthy, loving, and regenerative society. Guidance, show me. Keep my discernment clean. So I'm on this very, very big high, like buzzy head, feels like it's the size of a sphere, you know, the size of a small planet. I've got a planetoid of a head. Sorry, pop culture, little playfulness. But you Mike Myers fans know what the heck I'm talking about. It's a planetoid. Big energy, big energy. Welcome, everybody. I see people popping on, popping off. So, hello, Marty, welcome. So, where are we with this? I'm in the class, and I am loving my class. It's a very full class. I've got fabulous people all around me. Hello, Richard. People that have flown in from all over the country, those that have come in at the last minute because they knew they were supposed to get in, others that have planned it from the beginning. And we are all doing a technique that I refer to as the intuitive ribbon technique. And it is about bringing breath down, bringing shafts of light, and opening and expanding exponentially the two upper intuitive chakras, crown chakra and third eye. And I'm telling you people, this is powerful, powerful intuitive training, very powerful. And it almost gives you this sense of your crown chakra is just wide open and your head is open to the funnel of the spheres. And I mean light and guidance and big data coming through. So you need to be prepared should you ever choose to entrain in it. But because I teach it and I'm working on brainwave entrainment with my clients, we're going through theta, we're going through delta, we worked with gamma, we're working with sacred acoustics. Love Dr. Eben Alexander and love the work of Karen Newell and what they've done with sacred acoustics. You go into those higher spheres, unquestionably. If ever you guys want to know what I think are the best recordings that they have, please come to me. Braden, hey, welcome. I'm so wonderful to see you. You tell everyone at Daring Greatly, I am thrilled to be supporting what you guys are doing, and I love that you tap in. Thank you, sweetheart. So we're talking about what it is to step into discernment, what it is to use these tools for intuition that we all have. We just, most of us don't know how to use them. Nobody taught us how. So my charter is to do this work. We get to a lunch break on the third day. Now you got to remember, I'm running buzzy energy all week long, getting prepared. Yeah, sacred acoustics, Janine, no question. It is seriously the most powerful tool to help get you into entrainment. In addition to, you guys just be patient with me. I'm going to turn my computer. Does everybody see this really sporting copper pyramid descending from the ceiling. I asked my husband to help me install it. My children said, you really need to give him kudos because he doesn't like to fly at the top of the flagpole like I do. And they're like, you know, you look like a whack job, Mom, having that hanging here. We get you. We love it. We want sessions. But anybody else in 3D would go, whack job, really, really well. But I'm telling you what, it's a portal that I can create that heightens my intuitive abilities, put on my sacred acoustics, and I go. So I want to support all of you. How do you get into those places? So getting back to the class, I'm running super high energy, super clean, have amazing students around me, and all of them have gifts and talents and skills that they're developing. They were phenomenal. We get to a lunch break, and I invite a handful of students to join me for a lunch brunch right next door. Humble pie, because we were downtown for you Raleigh neophytes that enjoy the downtown life. And we go to brunch, and it turns out every student came. Everyone came. So I think we had like 10 people at the table, and that's a full class, trust me. And I realized that something profound had happened. And I only told one student this, only one, because it was too sacred to just vomit this precious and truly rare and sacred event out to the whole table, because they're chatting, they're talking, they're socializing, they're building bridges of communication together. They're getting excited about the tools that they're going to be expanding on with case studies. And I'm just sitting at the end of the table going, whoa, whoa, I'm just going to hold this space for as long as it lasts. Well, let me tell you what happened. An entire singularity, meaning a point in time, in space-time, that looks like a sphere. It looks very similar to something right out of a Stargate movie because it's almost liquidic. It is fractalized, it's faceted, it's moving like liquid energy, but it's inside of a sphere. And it literally opens itself up slowly, 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 right in front of my visual line of sight. Hi, Chris, welcome. This singularity opens up while I am getting ready to sit down and have brunch with all of my students after this high 3-day intensive. Welcome, Nora. 3-day intensive of energy, medical intuition. This chakra in a ribbon technique are connected. All the breath is running down through here. Heart Taurus has built this yummy energy that is creating a connected quantum field between myself and my students. And this singularity opens up. I can't see with my 3D eyes. Feel into this with me. What does it mean when you can't see? Hello, Justin, welcome. What does it mean when you can't see with the 3D eyes that are part of those 5 senses? We're in 6th sense, and guidance, higher multidimensional self says, I'm present. You've called me in. I'm ready for you to use me. I'm ready for you to be connected with me. I'm ready for you to see so much more of what's actually here. Because remember, out of 100% of the universe, 100% of the universe that's measurable, only 4.7% is this material realm that we're in right now, these physical bodies, what we consider to be real matter. So it's showing me, would you like to see another percentage of dark matter, dark energy, which is over 95% of the measurable universe? Check in with quantum physics, guys. This is academic now. So it opens up for me, and I realize that this is something I can enter. Hey, Genesee, are you getting ready to leave? Are you taking off on me, beautiful?
No, my battery's at like 10%.
Okay. Uh-oh, you better charge up, because you're going to pop in just a minute.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take a breath. I promise. All you guys that are watching, this is real. This is real. I can do this. You can do this. And you'd say, well, why would I want to do this? Don't you want to see the genuine nature of what you are? Do you really want to wait until you're unconscious or dead? Why is it that anyone has convinced you that that's true, that that is your divine nature, that that is your divine inheritance? It's not. All prophets, seers, revelators, oracles, wise souls, and sages since the beginning of time knew we had access to the heavens, knew we had access to the other dimensions. And anyone that's been a real good Bible scholar or religious or esoteric teaching scholar from the beginning knows all of the walks of faith and science and philosophy agree. We are one dimension within untold, innumerable amounts of dimensions, spheres, parallel realities. So when I am in such an intense place between these chakras and pulling my breath into heart, feeling all of this love from my students, and a singularity starts up. Let me just tell you what was funny first. I couldn't read the menu. I couldn't see it at all. There was no way to decide what I wanted to order because literally in my field of vision is this massive sphere completely blinding out, and I only have now 3D peripheral vision. My 3D world is not what I'm looking at straight on. It's periphery. Usually it's the other way around. For you intuitives that have been working on this a long time, you know that you're intuitive in your periphery, but you're usually 3D when you're looking straight on. Think about every time you're in a car and you're looking straight on, you see the world, you see the cars, the lights, the road, the bumper of the person in front of you, but you feel or sense out of your peripheral vision someone's looking at you to the side. You turn, you look, and sure enough, they look at you and they look away. You're usually more intuitive in your periphery when we are focused on the 3D world of physical matter. That isn't what was happening to me. My entire field of visual acuity was this temporal bubble, this beautiful liquidic stargate of welcoming space that was just waiting for me to permeate it. It was phenomenal. Finally, I'm turning and I'm trying to talk to one of the students who's glad to have me alone, and she's trying to tell me about this experience that she's had with being abducted on a ship and meeting some of her star family, and what does that mean. And those of you that have been following my work, and any of you that are paying any attention to what's coming out in disclosure globally, and in the United States, most recently in December 17th, I believe it was, of 2017, our military and our government agencies have admitted we've had this alien technology. We have had these unidentified aerial phenomenon. This is not National Enquirer stuff. This is science. There have been a lot of lies told to the public. So for those of you that are new to this, those of you that have never heard me speak about this, please get on board with me. This is academic. It's time to wake up and be discerning. How can we be discerning if we're not using these higher faculties?
On board. Get
on board. There you go.
Sorry,
so I've been rambling for a little while, but I've got to tell you something. When you can open up a portal of space-time and actually recognize that completely wide awake, without my headset, without my pyramid, without my sacred acoustics, and without hardcore meditation, just creating a way of living and being, because it was such an intensive for 3 days that I could open it up like that, was phenomenal. It was honestly awe-inspiring. And then it became, what is my responsibility to this temporal field that I've opened up, this interdimensionality that I've opened up? So I kind of want to put it out there. I can see the stream. Genesee, I know you've done this. This is part of what you did when you journeyed through those 11 bodies and 12 planets. Let's talk about what it means to be able to get so lucid and so clean in our energy that we can poke a hole through space-time. What's it about?
Yeah, really interesting. And I know why it was so imperative that I be here with you tonight. I know why Divine connected us so amazingly yet again. But really interesting how you describe this. So when I did the astral traveling, journeying, I was kind of, I wasn't as aware as you're describing it. And the really interesting thing, so I would consider that a different experience, but the experience that you are explaining right now, I've had happen twice. And it happened after I had done the journeying, and I explained it almost exactly like you. I think I actually have a blog post on this the second time I saw it, and how you explain this is verbatim how I explain it to people. But how I instead of a singularity, a temporal portal, what are you calling it? Because I don't have these words. I have no clue.
I'm giving it a lot of scientific words, Genesee, just for those that are waxing academic to have a better understanding of what it actually is in a deductive, materialistic universe.
I love it because I had no clue what I was experiencing, but wait till you hear what I experienced. So exact same thing. I wasn't doing a ton of energy work. Mine was a trigger for something that happened later that night. And I started getting what I would consider interference in my left-right brain functionality. Yeah. And so people would call this a headache, but I know better. And so it was a high energy download that came on very quick, and my vision started going like people consider a migraine, but it was not. I've suffered from migraines when I was very young, and this was not that, it was the energy shifting. And so instead of running to numb myself,
Yep.
like many people would in a download process, I sat there, and I was actually on my computer, and so I was outside when this happened, and I sat and I allowed myself to allow the energy to move into my body. I expanded into it instead of resisting it or trying to numb it. And then all of a sudden, and I remember screaming at my husband and my kids and everybody, I'm like, are you seeing these things? Are you playing? I called it like an Ouroboros because it seemed like this infinite spiral of geometric, how do you even, it was like the ring of it was this geometric circulating, but pulsating.
Yes.
But through that, it was, and I kept calling it a wormhole. I'm like, I am having a wormhole.
Yes.
I could play with it. I could open it. I could close it. And all the while, the head was going, and it kept slightly increasing with the more I was aware and recognizing this. It happened to me probably for maybe an hour, between an hour and an hour and a half. And it was there, and then it was gone. And I was like, what just happened? I was so conscious for it. Like you said, I had 3D reality, and I had this other dimensional portal open that I was playing with.
Yes.
Now, I don't know.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about, Genesee.
Exactly.
Why
and then I had that happen again. Yeah. Only twice in my life, but and a few years apart. Yeah.
So the truth is, it isn't something that is a singular event. It is a singularity, a wormhole, a black hole, a temporal bubble in space-time. For those of you that
Can you explain that to me? Because I live this, and I don't have the depth of knowledge that you do. So explain to me what I was playing with.
Well, you're an experiencer, and Genesee, that's why you're such an authentic article being here as my co-host. And I'm so honored to have you, because you can give layman's language to it. Being an experiencer.
That's nice way to put it.
Honey, you're it. I vote for you. Just being an experiencer that needed to be able to put some scientific terms and deductive reasoning behind it, because I wanted to have the widest expanse of audience that I could appeal to as they felt led, as they are interested. Whoever isn't going to show up here. So I want to welcome those that have popped on. Tammy, wonderful to see you. Autumn, so thrilled to see you too. We are talking about the veil. All of us know we have a veil. Most of us don't remember where we were before we embodied in these bodies. Most of us have an understanding that we came from that has to do with, I may be an eternal being, I may not be an eternal being, I may be stardust and starseed, I may be a soul that was divinely orchestrated. I follow quantum physics, I follow astrophysics, I follow quantum models. I also study esoteric wisdom across the board with every religion, every faith, every mystery school. I chase them all down. And what they all agree quantitatively is that there is one source code, one grid, one net, one infinite creator. Whether you think it's intelligent or not, pay attention, look around. You're going to see a lot of evidence that it's intelligent, and that there is Fibonacci sequences, and there is beautiful sacred geometry, and there is order to it. It looks like chaos, but there is order. So let's just agree with the baseline. We're all here, and we recognize that there is a veil of forgetfulness. Well, all of us have heard about children that have seen the deceased grandma and grandpa, or a family member that had passed on, or they know what mommy's going to have before she's giving birth. I mean, this has been the heart and soul of my work, is doing this type of intuitive work for my clients this entire time. We have taken for granted, hello, Greg, wonderful to see you. It's been a long time. So glad that you joined us tonight. We are talking about the veil tonight. The veil is something that impacts every single one of us to some degree. And for most of us, it impacts us a lot. And I have spent my whole entire life studying what it is to be this human being, and what may be eternal about this human being, and what the limits and constraints, and then the not so limited aspects of being this human being are. I believe that I am an eternal being, and I'm a multidimensional eternal being. And if you sit down with Stephen Hawking before he passed, if you sit down with Elon Musk, if you sit down with Albert Einstein, if you sit down with Sam Harris, if you sit down with a lot of these really big, expansive thinkers and fabulous scientists, astrophysicists, quantum physicists, they're going to tell you, you're a multidimensional being, and we are living in a multidimensional universe with quantum realities, parallel realities, multiple realities. And it explains deja vu, and it explains why we get intuitive hits at times where we shouldn't have otherwise. It explains why we sometimes have these haunted moments. Well, what is it we really doing when these moments happen? It's when the veil gets thin. The veil gets thin when we're under anesthesia. The veil gets thin when we're on drugs. The veil gets thin when we are at a near life experience where someone is coming or going, when we are coming or going, when we may have gotten in a car accident, we might be on our way out. And what Genesee and I are talking about tonight is the fact that every single one of us are intuitive beings. Every single one of us. No one taught us how. Our churches might have tried, and we might have had really lucid moments, you know, practicing some I don't know, chanting, breathing, yoga, meditation, and or, you know, shamanic tools like plant medicine. We may have all had these really extraordinary circumstances. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's had something within their family. Ricky, welcome. But what do we do when we are living in a world so filled with disinformation, misinformation campaigns on purpose, distractible news, fake news, who's alternative, who's corporate owned and has an agenda, and who's saying something fresh and real, who's wacky pants and who's legitimate? I'm telling you right now, every single one of us has to dial in our discernment. So the work that I do and what I just came out of with this class, teaching my students energy and medical intuition, because medical intuition is just applied physically, but energy intuition is everything that you've ever thought of about astral travel, astral relocation that the military has been doing for years, remote viewing, understanding that everything is a grid and we can ride and crest through the grid. You can grid your own body. You can grid your family. You can grid a city that's war-torn across the globe. You can grid somewhere out in the multiverse. You can grid multi-dimensional aspects of yourself. So Genesee just jumped in and said, yes, I've had this experience. On Sunday, somewhere around 2 p.m., an entire temporal bubble opened up in my field of acuity that looked right out of something that you have seen in sci-fi. Think about it. Sci-fi is not that brilliant. They're listening to the writings and the legends and the mythology and the sacred texts since the beginning. These people aren't hugely imaginative. We're not getting our ideas from them. They're getting their ideas from history, mythology, scripture. It's the other way around. So big surprise that it would actually look something similar to this. We know CERN is doing it. We know quantum computers are doing it. Well, the intense energy created a temporal field. And in front of me, I can't see with my 3D eyes because I am seeing this sphere of liquidic energy faceting, modulating, gyrating. And I realized I could go in it. I am bringing it into my space, and I am now seeing everything around me through it first and seeing 3D last, complete opposite of how we normally see on a day-to-day basis. And Genesee, the headache that you're talking about, a lot of people would go, oh, I'm having a migraine. It is the intensity of mind field blowing the roof out of your crown. Isn't it gorgeous? That's really what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, if I can give one tip through that to anybody, listen to your body. It's especially headaches and what we consider migraines. Stop numbing yourself. Stop taking medicine to not feel, and start allowing yourself to get guidance through what's coming through. When I did the astral travel to the different planets, I was told, I watched myself on the couch and get downloaded by another version of myself in another time space. And it was being projected as what I experienced on that couch as a headache. And
That's
so
right.
if people would just stop, like, your body is your friend. Stop trying to ignore it. Stop trying to numb it. Get rid of it. It's there to assist you.
That's right. That's the heart and soul of what's happening with society right now, Genesee, isn't it? There's so much cognitive dissonance. Guys, look it up if you don't know what I'm saying. It's deniability. It's disassociativeness from your multidimensional self. You are a spirit being. You are a mental being. You are an emotional being. You are a physical being. All of those have dimensions within dimensions. And on top of that, you're connected to other higher versions of yourself that exist right here, right now. Study the mystery schools. All of them know this. Go and listen to a quantum physicist. They will tell you the amount of multidimensional realms that exist cannot be counted. Just here on this rock, on Mother Earth right now, in what we think is 3D. You can find them. We have made leaps and bounds. You've got to toss out your old physics books. It's 90-plus-year-old antiquated science. We are right here on the cutting edge of what every human being is capable of. I'm not special. I'm only bold enough to get on Facebook Live with my co-host. I'm not special. No.
Not in that way.
No.
But you are.
Boo. I will not let anybody put me anywhere other than I might know a little bit more than they do because I've spent the time. Trisha, one of my wonderful students. Mwah, thank you for joining us tonight. You don't know this, Trisha, but we created a temporal reality. We created what Genesee would have referred to as a wormhole. It is. They're all the same thing. A wormhole, black hole, singularity, temporal bubble. And it showed up on the last day at lunch. I am down at the table and I can't even tell you because all of you students were so thrilled and engaged in one another. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't see you. The sphere took up my full visual acuity. I was trying to read the menu out of the corner of my eye, cracking up to myself.
That's what, yeah.
I couldn't see.
Validation. That's what happened to me. I had to turn my computer to the side because I was editing my book at that point, and I was turning my computer to the side, like, how is this happening? What's going on? Right. Yeah.
So what you did and what I did and what everyone here can do if they want to. This isn't for everyone right now. Maybe not right now. But the truth of the matter is you have the ability to see through this veil. You don't have to be stoned. You don't have to be on plant medicine. You don't have to go through a fast of depravity. You don't have to go on a vision journey. Sure, all these are tools. All of these
They'll get you there one time, but it's how to do it yourself and just trust that it's going to happen. Like, I think, like you're saying, you have to, sometimes people need the trigger moment, that thing to show them where they can go, but then it's within everybody's potential. I was doing nothing. It was like a Saturday or a Sunday. I'm with my family and it just came on. You were doing some intense energy work, which definitely helped. I mean, you were in the right space, the right time, but yeah, you don't have to work at it, you know, as long as you're accepting and you're willing to move into it. That's the thing. It's people have to find the trust, and it's a heart-centered lesson. Unless you're ready to really open yourself to the divine possibilities of what you don't know, you're not going to get this experience at all.
Right. Yeah. And you really did say it. It's a DIY. It's do it yourself. It is recognizing that all of us do. Every time we're in sleep mode, right, Genesee, we're soaring through at least fourth dimension, fourth density, and that's where anything's possible. I mean, everybody can shapeshift into whatever they want to be. You can wake up and be lucid in your dream. You can orchestrate and re-script your dream when you wake up in lucidity. I mean, I've been flying for years and re-scripting my dreams for years. It's a matter of realizing how much power you have because someone gave you permission and maybe gave you the science, which is why I study the science, to recognize that this is everyone's birthright. This is our natural inherent coding. This is part of being a human being and being a human being that has access to their higher faculties. So yeah, I've got no problem with using tools. You want to go on a vision quest? Do it. You want to go to Burning Man and take a lot of drugs and you want to create a sanctuary around you?
Just hydrate.
Set and setting and intention. Hey, blow it out. Do it. But here's what's so exciting. I mean, I'm at lunch. I'm trying to talk to my students and it just opened up and the whole brain is wah, 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 wah. This enormous intensity. And I'm realizing I could control it right now. I could wish it away. I could be afraid of it and it would go away. I'm not going to be afraid of it. I've been working on this too long. I could call it inconvenient because I can't read the menu and I can't see my students, but it's way too cool to disregard. So instead I asked it questions and sat as the witness of it all the way until the time that it slowly started to scale down, my higher dimensional self integrating with my lower dimensional self, and we just sat and held each other through the remainder of the class. So grateful to be reconnected and reacquainted and no longer feeling in the 3D sense separated. I anchored a 6-dimensional me in a 3-dimensional me. I don't care how wild that sounds to some of you people. This is science and this is esoteric wisdom. And if I can do it, anyone can. So What
So
are your thoughts, Genesee?
that's exactly what happened to me. So this happened right before my last trip in 2017. And after I had had my astral travel experience, traveling and meeting versions of myself through all time, all space, then the next year I was divinely guided to go grid North America. And I did 5 different cities, not knowing why I was going, but just being guided by energy. And the last city I went to was Arkansas. And so right before I went, this wormhole, as I'll call it, opened up for me, and the exact same experience, even how it went down. I could watch it go down and down. It was like this little Ouroboros eating itself into more and more infinite, time space. And so when that happened, that night I actually woke up too, and let's just put let's all get rid of our limiting thought processes and brain here. That night I woke up to, I've been contacted many times by extraterrestrials, if you want to label it that, not of this world, interdimensional beings. And it came in again, and I could hear it through children laughing all over my room. And then all of a sudden, my body froze. I was paralyzed, but I was eyes open, and it was Christ on the cross, gold pulling through the room and looking. And I watched it, and I'm sitting there frozen, paralyzed, going, oh my God, this is not happening. Oh my God, this is not happening. Oh my God, this is not happening. And then until it disintegrated. And then next day, or whatever it was, a few days later, I took the last trip down to Arkansas, and my trips are always divinely guided. I don't plan anything. I only stay in a place as long as the timeline's active. As soon as it slows down, I leave, even if I've rented a room 3 nights. And so this was happening, of course, throughout this entire trip. And one of the nights I was there, and the energy was getting so dense, so sluggish, that I left in the middle of the night with my 2 sons and was guided to drive 3 hours north. Mind you, I had driven like 2 days or a day down to Arkansas from Ohio, drove north, guided simply by a city where I was supposed to go, by a download of a city where I was supposed to go, and got to, and now I'm not going to remember where it is, the statue of Jesus. It's this man built it's not the O's, I don't even know what it is, but it's the biggest statue of Jesus on this man's private property. He has a whole amphitheater carved out of the side of the hill, and has this huge store of, I don't know, 5-story tall, like, Jesus statue that looks down over the thing. I was guided there, and for those of you who know me, the end of the book kind of goes about talking about how we're all pulling through Ascended Masters, timelines of the Ascended Masters, and we're all holding timelines to the Ascended Masters, and he was a main part of my journey. And so at the very end of that journey, as I was driving back from Arkansas, it was the 5th trip I had to go on. Basically, when I landed back in Ohio, as I was driving, my entire human creation of Genesee, and this time this space, left, and the high self of who I am was embodied. So as I said, it was my causal body, full total soul reconciliation at that moment. And you're saying your 60 self came in and basically integrated, and that is exactly how I explained it to everybody. I had a full integration after that wormhole moment.
Yes.
So I love it. This is why we're soul sisters. This is it.
Totally. And why we feel compelled to be bold enough to say, listen, it isn't a matter of popularity. This isn't a popularity.
It sounds weird. Trust us, we get it.
We get it.
We have to live it.
There's humanity here, right, Genesee? We care about the 3D interpretation that others perceive of us, but only so much. Because the truth is, it's more important to be witnesses, experiencers, and be credible. And I've been surrounded by amazing, amazing way showers for a long time. And Genesee is a true bona fide experiencer, which is why my higher self said, bring her in as a co-host of this show, because she brings true groundedness, an ability to talk to the layperson and help them be able to articulate and make some sensory sense out of what they've experienced, and help us to realize every single one of us can tap into this. And you say, okay, well, why do I want to? Besides discerning, besides being able to make any sense out of the insanity that's going on with this planet right now on every level, from the geological changes and the natural disasters and the politics and everything else, let's just talk about the fact that how many of us, do you know what the statistics are for our society, particularly in the Western world? Do you know the number one prescribed medication is an antidepressant? Antidepressant, number one. Number two is an opiate. It's a painkiller. Do you know how many people are disassociative on this planet right now? How many people feel alone, isolated, confused, literally disassociative to their lives? What's the relevance of my life? The ones that are not on antidepressants, the ones that are not taking painkillers, run a real good chance, not everybody, but run a real good chance to drink a little too much, eat a little too much, do other things a little too much, check out a little too much, because it's an intense planet and it's going through intense changes. If you knew that you could poke a hole through the veil the same way that quantum physicists did with CERN and with D-Wave and with Kindred and AI, what DARPA has been able to do, you don't realize how much science already exists that is very, very high Tesla-esque and true Tesla technology that allows others that actually know this science that has not been made available to the public. They know what is through the veil, and they know to a large degree how to interact with it, how to make purpose out of it, how to understand what it means to be an awakened and truly aware human being. The rest of us are sleeping. The vast majority of us have no idea. We're just working to earn and hopefully working to retire and end this life crashing into home plate with a partner and a child or a legacy, and be able to say, hey, you know, I lived a good life before someone's given your eulogy. And what I'm trying to tell you is that is in our inheritance. It never was. All esoteric faith knows we can hijack that. And by doing it by natural order. Natural order is human beings are spirit beings first. We are very fine energy and we're meant to ascend. We are meant to evolve. Pay attention to the science out there right now, guys. 2045, they're saying they've already figured out how to lengthen our telomeres. Can you hear me, Genesee? You're doing the, okay, awesome.
I was waving hi to somebody who joined.
Yeah. Oh, welcome everybody. Welcome all of you that are popping on right now. They're saying we are not going to age past 2045. Just Google some of the stuff I'm saying. I could create YouTube after YouTube after YouTube, and I could show you article after article after article. It would be mind numbing for you. But the fact of the matter is we already have proof positive. It is the shortening of telomeres in cellular division that creates the aging process and creates the weakening of our cellular structure and decay. And they've already come out, we love the illustrious they, those that tell us what's real and what isn't real, right? When they feel like it and on the timelines that work for them. We have extraterrestrial technology. We have spacefaring vehicles that are ready to run into Space Force right now already. And you can find the articles on it. Go look at the New York Times, Huffington Post, go look at To the Stars Academy. Well, we also have the ability to impact these vehicles that we live in, not just our spacefaring vehicles, this address you're living in, the meat suit you're riding in. And if we are already to the point where we can reverse aging, we can lengthen telomeres, we can heal all types of disease once we understand at the very base level of the material universe, everything is wave and frequency. Density is the last place it shows up. 4.7% of the measurable universe is your body, your meat suit, the material world around you. When we can heal at wave and frequency, don't you want to know you can poke a hole in the veil at will when you choose to and be able to get greater discernment about what's really going on? Can't you see how that is a priceless asset to your skill set as an evolving human being? And that this isn't just for those that have the multi-billions and trillions of dollars that are hooked up and well-financed with some of the deep projects of the state and the high-end corporations, or just those sages that are living in Tibet. Any of us can do this. This is why I'm teaching it. This is why Genesee teaches it. This is why we're on this show. So I want to tell everyone, I'm sitting at lunch. I'm sitting with my students. I've been in a high intensity field. This temporal bubble opens up And it was everything I could do to not abandon my students at lunch and dive into it. It was phenomenal. It was like diving into a pool of becoming, of reclaiming who I am, other aspects of who I was. It was very friendly. It was loving, and it was as interested in me as I was interested
Playful.
in it.
That's, yeah, playful. It was like, I was giddy. I was like a child. I was triggered into total giddiness when it happened to me. It was like, what? I just kept laughing. I'm like, what is this? I just wanted to like pull, push, spread, shrink. It was so cool. It was just, yeah, it was amazing.
It was your little temporal Play-Doh baby.
It was my Play-Doh baby, for sure. I had a Play-Doh baby, and I named it Wormhole.
Wormhole. I got you. We've got all the right vernacular. It's wormhole. It is singularity. It is black hole, temporal bubble, Stargate, all of it, right? So
Ooh, Stargate. I like that one.
Genesee, let's wrap up with our guests. I know that we're actually coming up on 8:30. Why does it matter to merge with, to be reacquainted with, and reclaim our multidimensionality? What does it give us access to, Genesee?
The joy of being human, and as Rick says, in this meat suit. That's our whole message. It's love. It's I can vibrate from a space of love and compassion every single day, and detached acceptance too. Although I want you all who have not dove headfirst into this the shadow work, or claiming all of your divine rights and gifts and talents, it's the fact that it's there for you, and I can have detached acceptance for every single person that I live here with, because I know what it's like to be unconscious, if we can call it that. I know what it's like to be doing the work and confused as SHIT, and I know what it's like to be on the other side of the wormhole, where everything is in such resonant vibration with my heart frequency that I am happy every single day I wake up. I mean, there's some hours where I get triggered and I'm pulling through a manifestation cycle that I'm like, what? But it doesn't take long to oscillate right back into that love vibration. What about for you?
So I love the words you use, because our jam, our crowd will know what you meant about oscillating and being triggered. Basically, in human speak, because she was a little bit 50 Cent words with some of those. In human speak, we all go through mood swings. We all go through days where the energy's too heavy. The burdens feel too monotonous. Our partners and our children and our homes and our neighborhoods or whatever else becomes rote, and we start to take it for granted, or we go through a challenging time, and we're dealing with all kinds of other issues with the poisoning of the planet and 5G and too much electromagnetic waves running through your house and millimeter frequencies. And the truth of the matter is, we all are dealing with the weight of being in a 3D sphere. But when you can poke a hole or encourage, lovingly beckon open a singularity in the multidimensional realm, the way that I experienced it this weekend as the most recent and most powerful manifestation, let me tell you what it does more than anything else to me. It reminds me of my infinite nature, and that I am way more interesting than the day-to-day effects that I am living. Yeah, that this very dimensional nature of being divinity that descended down into density and was willing to forget so that we could wake up and rekindle and reclaim our divine nature and our latent abilities and our compassion and our sense of oneness. You all of a sudden realize, I really don't have any reason to need those two medications. Not really, that are the number one and number two prescribed medications in the Western world. Antidepressants,
heart chakra suppressor, yeah,
and painkillers. The
numbing
pain is
to your
feeling
divinity.
alone.
Yeah.
Totally. We feel alone. We experience disassociation. We experience a sense of isolation. Every single one of us does. That's what the veil does. It made you forget who you are, and that you are actually part of one infinite being, one infinite creator that is loving, that is powerful, and you're just playing being you on this planet. And when that temporal bubble opens up, all of a sudden you get back to I'm awesome. This is a really cool ride. How is it that I forgot? And I really believed I was just this personality, just this meat suit, just this one singular address on an infinite sea of multidimensional intelligence, vortexes. And so, yeah, I mean, it marries into what you said, Genesee, but it welcomes everybody in. Come on, guys, you're all part of this. We're not separate. There's nothing about us that's separate. We just think we're separate until we are courageous enough and interested and curious and maybe a little bit disciplined enough to think differently, dream differently, breathe differently, and run our energy in a way that opens up those singularities, those wormholes, those vortexes.
Do you have that meditation? Do you have a workshop? I'm sure everybody's dying for your guidance in bringing the ribbon through. Do you have a recorded workshop or somewhere people can go?
Currently, it's not recorded because those that come and see me for the medical and energy intuitive training that learn how to run the grid, that learn how to be able to go into any sentient life from their own bodies, their cellular intelligence down to bone marrow, out into their auric field and out into space. It's a technique that guidance taught me that was meant to be taught to the students in class. So it's part of the value acquisition of what they paid for. But you know what? It may open up and become something that's much more of a common training that comes through the show, or it just comes to be more in demand.
Oh, I'm gonna record you. I'm gonna get you. We'll make it a workshop, an online workshop, because how's everybody else that can't fly or can't see you? We're definitely going to record this. I can feel people like, this is the one thing people are going to take away. How do I run that ribbon?
Yeah.
So don't worry, guys. I will make sure to record Tatiana and get you that workshop.
Well, again, in all humility, and Genesee and I are going to be the first ones to be humble. Listen, we're way showers, it's true, but we may only be, and my joke in our last show with Michelle Manders is, we may only be 5 degrees north of where you are right now. And if that's the 5 degrees that are going to make it and break it and get you into another place of really serious self-awareness and self-awakening, hey, we're happy to be your way showers for the next 5 degrees. But for those of you that are just starting, there's so much to know. There is such a beautiful community that is pocketing all over this globe. It's been doing it for a long time, but it is growing exponentially. And we are part of our own microcosmic community that is merging and coalescing and otherwise creating a much more beautiful mosaic. Joy, Joy just joined us. We're just talking about our micro community and talking about those that have been on the show with us and what it means to create these micro communities so that we can reach out with an energetic connection across this globe and be able to bring all of those of us that are working on or being in witness to the oneness that we actually all hold. The quicker that we see the oneness, the quicker that we take everything religious, spiritual, esoteric, philosophical, mythological that we've ever heard, and we bring it into alignment with modern science. And I don't mean what you took in physics, guys. Your physics books are outdated. They're antiquated. Newtonian physics out. Darwinian evolution out. It's time to get back into what the science is. It is one unified field. This is academic. We are one unified field. When we start running our energy this clean, when we can create these singularities like I just did on Sunday, involuntarily, but having set the right tone, when we do that, we open up spheres and realms within realms of influence that help everyone else to step more into their authenticity. One of the words that Genesee uses all the time, get back to your authentic, real you. You're not alone. You're not disassociative. You don't need to run away from your depression. You don't need to run away from your pain. You need to be reacquainted with who you are and what your divine nature is. So we're here doing the show. Let's tell them a little bit, Genesee, as we're wrapping up. We are going to be touching on this stuff in these sacred sites. Tell them a little bit about it. Can you hear me, lovely? It sounds a little crackly. I don't know what that sound is. Genesee? Okay, I think that you're moving around. I'm just going to let everybody know that's listening. Can you mute your phone really quick, Genesee, while it's figuring itself out? Okay, listen. We are led and guided, she and I both, to go and visit sacred sites because we live on a grid that happens to also, I'm going to move the phone and see if that makes any difference. So far, no. Maybe well. we live on a planet that is got ley lines and vortexes and grids. Everybody's heard this to some degree or another. We know that we have crop circles. We know that we have places where temples have been built and cities have been built, pyramids have been built. Why is this important? It's important because in these areas we have heightened experiences for, again, our multidimensionality and connecting with everyone around us. So we are going to be going to Sedona in January, and somewhere between January and September, we will be adding Maui. We'll be adding Serpent's Mound. We'll be adding Mount Shasta. We'll be adding the Great Lakes in Crystal Mountain, Arkansas. There is going to be places where we're going to go and help others to experience this degree of breakthrough and multidimensionality, walking you through entrainment. If any of you feel guided and led, please send us your email. Go to solutionarytv.com and sign up and send your email. We are going to be thrilled to be able to introduce this to you. Hello, Ray. Wonderful to have you with us. We're just winding down. So where we are right now, the ley lines. Yes. How do we learn where the ley lines are? You can actually Google this. What is so exciting about where our science is right now and how much is available, you can get into a browser and actually look at some of the ley lines, and you will be told about ancient ley lines where, for instance, you know, Glastonbury Tor, Stonehenge, the Great Pyramids of Giza, Chichen Itza, you name it, we have them. We have. Well, the earth is going through some shifts right now, and while she's kind of shaking, rattling, and rolling, there's going to be some regridding of some of these ley lines. And the ancients knew from the beginning of time, whether you're talking about biblical times or before or after, the ancients have always known the earth is alive and she is a vortex and she is going through her own evolution. And so we're going to go to some of these vortex areas and be providing and guiding and supporting others that feel equally called to embrace their multidimensionality, to step into a place where they can pierce the veil too. And you do it from a place that is clean, that is high intention, the same way you pray, the same way you meditate, the same way you do journeying and plant medicine. Set, setting, and intention. And we're going to have some yummy company coming together. We're going to bring those that are coming from the same light and love vibration that we are in. And so we welcome all of you to join us. We are going to be back on the air next Monday. We are going to have Adam Riva with us with Dauntless Dialogue. Look at his stuff. Exceptional interviews. He is aware of what's going on with disclosure and the deep state. He is aware of what's going on in elite circles of power, and he's had some pretty powerful and equally provocative interviews just recently that for many that are interested in disclosure is going to be pivotal. And he will be coming on and sharing with Genesee and I Monday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through Nissan Communications. So Waking Up Solutionary TV Monday night. We are thrilled for all of you that joined us. We are kind of wrapping up. Genesee, can you pop in really quick and give some final words? I'm just checking your volume. Sounds like her phone died on us, guys. So my co-host, my wonderful co-host that I'm honored to have, understands that this veil is thin. It isn't as impermeable as many of us think. Our ability to be able to tap into it and to be able to elicit wisdom and understanding and greater scientific, really expansive concepts about how the science and the mystery or the magic come together, because it all weaves together. They are not mutually exclusive. One looks like magic and the other looks like science, and we should know that by now, right? Electricity, Tesla technology, there's science, but it looks like magic, doesn't it, guys? We understand that there can be greater understanding, and every single one of us can tap into our latent intuition. Every single one of us has the ability to poke holes in the veil. Every single one of us has the ability to get wisdom about those that have passed on through the veil, influences through the veil that are having an impact on us, and that 95% of dark energy, dark matter, that all astrophysicists and quantum physicists are now saying is the nature of reality. All of this evidence is out there. We'll be talking more about it on the show. Please come and join us and consider supporting Solutionary TV, because we are here for the long haul. We are here through this Earth's transition, through her evolution. Pay attention. Go look and see what's going on. My buddy Michael Bradbury, mrmbb333.com. The Earth is changing. We are too. Shamanic resonance is being readjusted. we have to readjust with her. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. It has been a blast. So excited to share my experience with you and so thrilled to have so many of you on the call. You are a blessing, you are a gift, and you are all phenomenal for being here, sharing in this time with us, and having the curiosity to step aside from the day to day and say, what more is there really for me to be able to understand and embody about myself? We are infinite, we are eternal, and we are all connected, and I am honored to be a part of you. Thanks so much again, guys. Mwah.